As founding father and third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson helped build the foundation for what our country was built on. He was one of the original signatories on the Declaration of Independence and oversaw the Louisiana Purchase and the expansion of North American land and revenue.
Today we're going to talk about a humble series of 2 volumes that came out in 1788. We call them the Federalist Papers, although they weren't called the Federalist Papers when they were released. They were called the Federalist, a collection of essays regarding the adoption of the new Constitution. This is really the story of Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, and John Jay, and the struggle to bring the American population, the colonial population, or the American population, under the arc of a single Republican Constitution. And we can look at this story in many different ways. But for me, this story begins at a moment in Philadelphia when Alexander Hamilton watches his compatriots from New York get up and walk out of the Constitutional Convention, leaving him abandoned without the power to vote, and realizing that New York State, in an effort to have it approve the Constitution, was going to need a campaign in favor of the Constitution.
During the late 1800s, the United States went through a tumultuous financial times. The Civil War, the railroad bankrupting, and other economic downturns led to the government imposing multiple federal taxes. These included income tax, a cigar tax, stamp tax, tax on manufactured goods, and special taxes such as licenses. At first, the taxes were opposed, but once the economy took a turn for the better, criticism began to dwindle.
The year was 1913. Woodrow Wilson was president, and powerful banking interests, who had been trying for years, finally achieved their long-term goal of a silent coup d'etat by taking control of the American government. The first thing they did to accomplish their takeover was convince Secretary of State Philander Knox to lie to the American people and tell them that the 16th Amendment, the Income Tax Amendment, had been legally ratified by the states when it was not. The bankers knew that this tax would ultimately end up in their pockets. Because of this fraud, the American people were led to believe there was now a tax on their labor.
Ronald Reagan created a new type of financial beliefs called Reaganomics. The four main ideas behind Reaganomics were to reduce the growth of government spending, reduce income tax and capital gains, reduce government regulation economy, and control the money supply to reduce inflation. With the use of the four pillars of Reaganomics, he was able to lower the income tax on American citizens.